A warm West Coast evening. A glamorous city bathed in silvery moonlight. A criminal element walking arm in arm with high society. And a masked woman who challenges their power. The Domino Lady. Tonight's episode, All's Fair in War.
April 1935. While the American prairie land was being ravaged by the infamous Dust Bowl, the city of San Diego was preparing the California Pacific International Exposition, a spectacle designed to draw thousands of tourists and hopefully millions in revenue. The opening ceremonies would commence in a matter of weeks. Final preparations were becoming frantic, and city accountants increasingly nervous.
I simply can't wait for the exposition to begin, Mr. Mayor. This is so exciting.
Miss Patrick, I assure you that the California Pacific International Exposition will surpass all your expectations. At the same time, well, I can't thank you enough for your financial backing in this endeavor.
Please, Mr. Mayor, it's nothing. My father loved the city of San Diego, despite the fact that he spent so much time in Los Angeles.
Yes, well, he was quite busy in the DA's office.
Ellen Patrick, there you are.
Raj, what are you doing here?
Well, the exposition committee is retaining me as security expert. I'll be in San Diego for a few months. I have to make certain everything at the expo goes off without any trouble.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like you to meet Raj McCain, a very dear friend of mine. Raj, this is Mayor Percy J. Binbo.
Oh, how do you do, young fella?
I know who you are, Mr. Mayor. Don't worry about a thing. The expo will be the safest place with me here.
Oh, I'll bet.
It's something else, isn't it? All the different sections with the different architecture. You'll never believe what they'll have on display soon.
Like what, Raj?
You weren't in the Crime Doesn't Pay exhibit?
Only long enough to see the fingerprint exhibit. My fingers are still smeared from the ink.
They're exhibiting a 17-pound machine gun. Not to mention an armored car that belonged to none other than John Dillinger.
My goodness.
To say nothing of the actual $1 million bill on loan from the Federal Reserve.
Mr. Mayor, we need another photo of you with the construction crew, please.
Work. Never fails. I'll be right back, my dear.
Mr. McCain?
Yeah, Moxie.
I'm gonna start my rounds. If the Crime Does Not Pay exhibit's clear, I'm gonna lock it up.
Okay, Moxie. Let me know if there's anything wrong.
Moxie?
Yeah, that's his nickname, and he's got plenty of it. He was a San Diego cop, but Dan Carley, the expo's administrative assistant, hired him for security detail.
Rough-looking fellow, isn't he?
Well, being tough is a plus for a cop. So, how long's it been?
A while. You're looking well. Honestly, I didn't expect to see you.
Yeah, me neither. So, Ellen, do I have a chance to, spend some time with you while you're here?
Now, Raj, don't start that already. We'll do some catching up later tonight.
At City Hall, Mayor Benbow introduced Ellen Patrick to the Expo's other backers. Samuel Benton, Expo Supervisor, and Dan Carley, Expo Administrative Assistant.
So, Miss Patrick, the exposition meets with your approval.
So far, so good, Mr. Benton.
I only wish the public would feel the same way.
What do you mean?
Damn it, Carley, I told you.
Mr. Mayor, Miss Patrick's donation on behalf of the exposition has been very generous. I only feel it's right that she knows.
Knows what, Mr. Carley?
The mayor and Mr. Benton originally tried to make this event an official World's Fair. Unfortunately, plans went awry.
Mr. Benton?
Now, Miss Patrick, don't be alarmed.
Yes, we approached the World's Fair Committee, but this would have conflicted with their plans for next year.
Rubbish! The World's Fair Committee had no faith in you, and neither do I.
You little weasel.
Gentlemen, that's enough. You should be ashamed of yourselves, behaving this way in front of...
Don't apologize, Mr. Mayor. I am no stranger to seeing men argue.
I'll bet.
Excuse me?
Carley, if you don't shut your filthy mouth...
Then I'll continue to say objectionable things, and you will be powerless to stop them.
Jerk.
Miss Patrick, I'm so sorry.
All right. Someone tell me what that was all about.
Carley wanted to be appointed as exposition supervisor. My contribution was greater than his.
And now he's assistant supervisor?
Only insofar as his title is concerned. He fought me on nearly every decision, trying to show me up.
Excuse me for a moment. Yes, Gladys.
Mr. Mayor, there's a call for you.
That fathead was given everything. First, his father turned over an accounting firm.
What?
Then, politics maneuvered him into a minor office. He's trying to be a big wheel now.
As long as this quarrel doesn't hurt the expo.
Good Lord. All right, I'll be right down.
What's the matter?
It's the exposition. There's been a break-in at the Crime Does Not Pay exhibit of all places. Gladys, tell my driver to meet me out front.
Vandals?
Worse, the U.S. Mint exhibit was burglarized. The $1 million bill has been stolen.
So that's how it plays out, Mr. Mayor. Someone knew the exhibit layout pretty well. They walked in here, apparently smashed the display case, and left through the rear of the building.
Sergeant, you're saying the thief just walked right out of the fairgrounds? But how?
Yes, workers making final preparations. You'd think someone would have noticed.
Sorry, sir, but someone picked a good escape path. Wasn't anyone in charge of security?
That would be me, Sergeant. Raj McCain, private detective. What a joke.
Oh, Raj, please don't blame yourself.
Well, then who should I blame? I was supposed to make sure everything was safe.
Well, why don't you try blaming the thief?
Hell, Ellen. You know what I mean.
Perhaps we had better talk with you, son.
God, what will we do now?
I don't know, Sam.
What is it now?
That $1 million bill was on loan from the Federal Reserve. We offered a bond for half of its value as insurance.
This could ruin the expo before it even begins.
Don't worry, Mr. Mayor. We'll get it back somehow.
We?
I mean, the police will recover it. I'm certain of that.
I pray that you're right, young lady. This could spell disaster for San Diego's economy.
Several hours later, Ellen Patrick retreated to her penthouse, high atop the tower suite of the El Cortez Hotel.
Ellen, what will happen to the exposition if that $1 million bill isn't recovered?
I honestly don't know, Dottie. Mayor Percy believes that the Federal Reserve will call them on the bond, and that could cripple the fair.
My goodness. That would take the city's economy down with it.
Possibly.
Why would anyone risk stealing it? Where on earth could they possibly spend it? It's worth $1 million, and it's useless at the same time.
I agree, Dottie. That's exactly what I thought, and why I don't believe this is an ordinary theft.
What do you mean?
There have been financial problems surrounding the expo, not the least of which is the friction between Dan Carley and Samuel Benton.
Shall I prepare your evening clothes, Miss Patrick?
Yes, Dottie, the mask and cloak with it. I am going to tour the fairgrounds after dark as the Domino Lady.
It was nearly 9 p.m. when Ellen Patrick, disguised as the Domino Lady, circumvented a fence at the southern end of the fairground.
The exhibit is toward the north. We'll have to walk down the midway.
Ellen, that isn't safe. There's certain to be guards here tonight.
I know, Dottie, but I must look for clues on my own. Now, if we're careful, we can cut through Zorro Garden's nudist colony.
What? Shh! The expo is going to have an actual nudist colony?
I didn't believe it either at first. Let's go.
Ellen Patrick and her assistant, Dottie Jaster, carefully made their way through Zorro Gardens, using their flashlights sparingly.
This is it. Crime does not pay.
Someone wasn't listening.
Stop it. Hand me the lockpick. Head back to the car. I'm going in alone. What a horrid place. John Dillinger's armored car. 17-pound machine gun. Oh, it's some of the most grisly crime scene photographs ever taken. Why would anyone be interested in this? I should talk, though. How many young ladies decide to wear a mask?
Hold it right there.
Who?
What the devil? I don't believe it. I thought someone just made up those stories about a woman in a mask, but you really are the Domino Lady.
Now just take it easy, Raj. I can explain.
Raj, how do you know my name?
I mean...
You were casing this place, weren't you? That's how you knew the groundskeeper's schedule, and that's how you knew my name.
No, you're mistaken.
Now you return to the scene of the crime. Were you interrupted before, or wanted something else? Or perhaps there was no time to plant your calling card and make you look like an even bigger fool.
Now listen, McCain.
So now it's McCain.
I can explain.
David, I can have the other security people here in a few minutes. Wait until I break the news that I've captured the Domino Lady.
You're listening to The Domino Lady, All's Fair in War, brought to you by Saucy Romantic Adventures. Thrill to the Domino Lady's continuing exploits in saucy romantic adventures, on sale in the beginning of October with the new thriller Black Legion by Lars Anderson. Ellen Patrick confronts a criminal enclave whose weapons are intimidation and racial intolerance. How will the glamorous masked manhunter meet their challenge? Read Black Legion by Lars Anderson in the October issue of Saucy Romantic Adventures, available somewhere under your druggist's counter. Except in New York City. Shh.
Don't move, Domino Lady. I can blast you before you take another step. Okay, well, I can blast you before you take another step. Okay, I can still blast you, even now.
Kiss me. You fool. Put down that gun.
Huh? Oh, sure, I mean, hey, wait a minute. You broke in here. I'm placing you under arrest. Well, not just yet. I need to interrogate you first. We need to find out more about you.
I won't allow you to strip search me on the first date.
I don't think you're in any position to demand anything.
I think I'm in a better position than you realize.
A 22 caliber pistol? I don't mean to pry, but where the hell did you have that hidden?
Maybe once we know each other a little better.
I sincerely hope so. My place for a nightcap?
I'd love to, dear, but not tonight. I have to escape before those pesky police arrive.
Oh, then.
It wouldn't help if our next meeting had us separated by a jail cell.
I don't want anything to separate us the next time we meet. And I hope there's a next time.
Oh, there will be a next time. Next time.
Later that evening in an elegant townhouse, Assistant Supervisor Dan Carley thumbed through a newspaper while a uniformed man paced the floor.
Well, this should create quite a row. News of the alleged theft is already in the late edition. You've done well in quelling my fears.
What do you mean, Mr. Carley?
To accomplish the occasional unsavory task, one must depend upon unsavory people. Naturally, you...
I've told you once before, Mr. Carley, and I'll tell you one last time. Don't you dare get smart with me. You got the bill, and you better have my fee. Understand?
Yes, I understand.
Good. Let's settle it.
Freeze, gentlemen.
What the?
A woman in a mask?
No wrong moves, and no one gets hurt.
What's the meaning of this?
I've heard enough to convince me that you're responsible for the theft of the $1 million bill from the expo.
The Domino Lady. You're for real?
This gun is for real. I'd curtsy, but I don't want to take my eyes off of you.
Yeah, well, the feeling's mutual.
My dear lady, what brings you here this lovely spring evening?
She already told you, jackass.
No sign of forced entry. Someone knew the guard's schedule. Of course, one of the guards would know the layout, the schedule, and may even have a key for the exhibit.
So what? Everyone else is probably figuring that out right about now.
Yes, but they aren't circumventing the law to reach you, and I am. Now come across with it.
Young lady, if you avert your eyes to the right and up a bit...
The $1 million bill!
Naturally.
You must be stupid, Carley. You have it framed on display in your own townhouse apartment? Why not just put a sign on the front lawn?
I was planning to return it, gift-wrapped, now that Moxie has tested the expo security for me, and I find it incredibly lax.
Naturally, when one of the guards, namely Moxie, is a thief.
You'd better watch your mouth.
Come on, just try it.
You little...
I checked up on you. You were hired as an expo guard, even though you were bounced off the San Diego police force.
I resigned. Internal Affairs couldn't prove anything.
You shouldn't have roughed up those suspects.
I'll rough you up, but good.
Old habits die hard, eh, Moxie? By the way, your lip is bleeding, Mr. Carley.
For heaven's sake, take the bill and be gone.
All right. I'll just help myself to it and this lovely frame. I'm sure the authorities will have questions for you later, gentlemen. Good evening.
Are we just gonna stand here and...
Yes, we are. This is perfect. Foolish amateur. She might become a threat if she survives much longer. Yes, police. This is Dan Carley, 418 Novice Street. The Domino lady was here. She tried to extort money from me in exchange for the $1 million note. Yes, please hurry, in case she returns.
The following morning, in the lobby of the El Cortez Hotel, Ellen Patrick and Dottie Jaster stood aside as reporters swarmed around the man of the hour, Private Detective Raj McCain.
So that's it, boys. I got a telephone call telling me where to retrieve the $1 million bill. I suppose the Domino lady thought it was too hot to hold on to after Mr. Carly phoned the police.
Maybe she knew you were on her trail.
That guy wouldn't be chasing after a dame like her.
Now hold it, fellas, hold it. I'm not so sure that she's all bad. There might be more to this than we think, and I intend to find out what.
Mr. McCain, you actually met the Domino lady?
Close enough that I could reach out and touch her, and I did.
Attaboy, McCain. Next time, kiss her for me.
Please, he recovers the bill, becomes a big hero, and he's making kissy face with the Domino lady. I knew I should have become a private eye.
Okay, fellas, that's all for now. Any more questions, I'll be at police headquarters later. The sergeant will be happy to pose for pictures with me and the bill.
All's well that ends well, eh?
Well, the $1 million has been recovered, and I'm back in everyone's good graces.
I'm not so sure, Raj.
Huh? Oh, Ellen, come on.
You reached out and touched her?
Yeah, to try and arrest her.
Ellen, we're all packed. The bellhop will bring the bags down momentarily.
What? Ellen, you're leaving, but we barely had any...
I know. We just haven't been home in Los Angeles or San Francisco for weeks.
Hello, Mr. McCain. My, but you look handsome, posing for your photographers and all.
Huh? Oh, thanks, Dottie.
Excuse me, Raj. Ms. Patrick.
Mr. Benton.
Just coming to say goodbye.
Oh, no goodbyes. We'll see you at the opening of the exposition next month, sir.
Well, I may not return for the opening.
What do you mean, sir?
Dan Carley's been gloating in the press about the theft. I've had enough. I'm stepping aside as the expo director.
What? But Sam, everything is all right now.
You redeemed yourself, young man, but they're passing the blame around even as we speak. Chances are it will land at my feet. To heck with it. I have enough successful businesses in San Diego to keep me busy.
But Mr. Benton, if you step aside, then...
Dan Carley becomes the expo director, and good riddance. Well, I'm very busy, so goodbye, Miss Patrick, and you too, Miss Jaster. Raj, I'll talk to you later.
I better try to talk some sense into him. Excuse me, ladies.
Ellen, this has completely backfired. The Domino lady has been accused of the theft, and now the real culprit will assume control of the expo.
Dottie, give this $20 bill to the bellhop and tell him to take our suitcases back upstairs.
You mean?
Looks as though the Domino lady's work in San Diego is just beginning.
The expo got off to a rocky start, but now things appear to be heating up just when Ellen Patrick thought she could smooth everything out. What will happen now that the slimy Dan Carley is in charge of the exposition, and now that Raj McCain has been caught two-timing with his old girlfriend in disguise? Why don't we save that for next time?
The Domino Lady, All's Fair in War, featured Karen Stillwell as Ellen Patrick, the Domino Lady, Peter Carini as Raj McCain, Mandy Brown as Dottie Jaster, Kevin Donnelly as Moxie, Peter Papadopoulos as Dan Carley, Bill Chessman as Samuel Benton, Lance Roger Axt as Mayor Benbow and your narrator, and Christine Marshall as your announcer. Additional roles were portrayed by the members of the Pulp Adventures Acting Company. The script was written by Rich Harvey and featured characters created by Lars Anderson. Recorded at Broken Radio Studios, San Francisco, California. Post-production by the Audio Comics Company. Special thanks to Piper Payne and Matt Boudreau at Broken Radio Studios, Tom Spingola, and C.J. Henderson. The Domino Lady, All's Fair in War, is an audio comics pulp adventure, directed by Lance Roger Axt. A warm West Coast evening. A glamorous city bathed in silvery moonlight. A criminal element walking arm in arm with high society. And a masked woman who challenges their power. The Domino Lady. To be continued.